Welcome to Season 4 of the Three Moons, Three Souls podcast, a sacred space where women gather to share their stories, wisdom, experiences, and spiritual journeys. Each episode is a heartfelt conversation honoring the voices of women from all walks of life. Healers, intuitives, teachers, creatives, and soul seekers, as they speak openly about transformation, empowerment, healing, intuition, and the path that has shaped who they are today. Inspired by the energy of the triple goddess, this podcast was created to uplift, connect, and remind us of the strength and wisdom carried within every woman's soul. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Now settle in, open your heart, and enjoy today's conversation on the Three Moons, Three Souls podcast. Our special guest today is Kim Quezada. We invite you to listen to part 2 of our conversation.
Welcome to the podcast, Kim. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Oh, good. Thank you.
Good.
Welcome back. This is your part two.
This is my part two. Yeah.
Yeah. I love part twos because we get to, in our first episode, we got to touch on certain topics, but today
hmm
it's going to be a little bit different. So,
Okay. All
yeah,
right.
it'll be good.
Hit me with it.
So,
Hit me with it.
yeah, hit me with it. I love that. Okay, so let's start off by asking you, what is something in your heart that has been trying to process that you haven't fully put into words yet? So, what is something that you're trying to compute?
Um, for me personally, the thing that I just can't make, maybe it's like making peace with or just have an understanding or whatever, is probably worthiness.
Yeah,
It's just something that I've kind of I've been exploring the last few months. I'm worth it too, you
yeah,
know. But some days it's really, really difficult to think like that because as a woman, as women, we tend to give and give and give to the
yeah,
people who we feel are worthy, which is like kids or husband or friends or whatever.
yeah,
And I think it is coming up for a lot of people, especially for me, is like, hey, wait a second. I mean, I'm worthy of that too. And in this exploration of trying to figure this worthiness out, I've actually been voicing my thoughts and opinions more often, but then I feel
yeah.
guilty about it, right?
Oh,
So it's a huge, big in progress for me. Yeah.
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 It's difficult. We tend to feel a little guilty on putting ourselves first,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's it's understandable because, like, traditionally, that's what we've been taught from our mothers or our female role models,
Mm-hmm.
right? That we are like a caregiver, we look after others, but we don't realize that we need to look after ourselves first.
Yeah, and I mean that is worthiness and stuff. If you're looking at the chakras and the hippie way, it's like the lower chakras a bit, but actually it
Yeah,
hits me really in the heart. It hits me really in the heart space.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like, oh, I don't want to hurt anybody, right? I don't want to hurt
yeah,
anybody for voicing my opinion and stuff. So I don't necessarily want like feel it in my lower body. I do feel it in my chest, like it just gets all tight and stuff. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think that's probably because too you are an empath.
Mm-hmm.
You feel
Yeah.
a lot of others' feelings
Mm-hmm.
more so than other people would.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably why it really resonates there in your heart.
Yeah, and it's like it's just like I hate feeling anger, frustration from people, especially towards me. But at the same time, I have to let that go because whatever they're feeling has nothing to do with me, but I still feel it,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, we just got to keep plugging away and remind ourselves that it's good to look after ourselves too, and
Yeah.
it's okay to do that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. But it for a lot of people, including me, it's a huge work in progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're making steps, I
I
can tell.
am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so in what ways have you outgrown versions of yourself that once felt safe?
Oh my gosh. Um, Really, actually, it's funny you brought that up because I've really been thinking about that. I've kind of feel like I've been outgrowing who I was in my work with my spiritual work and stuff.
Yeah,
There's a way that I've worked before that kept me safe, that kept me hidden, that didn't ruffle any feathers. And I'm really just like kind of breaking out of that and like not giving
Yeah.
two shits anymore. But
Yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah.
that is where it would be the most for sure, is in my
Yeah.
spiritual work. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'd love
Yeah.
to hear more about that. Um, so like how have you outgrown part of your spiritual work? So it's just the matter that you don't like who cares? Like I don't give a shit about this and then move forward or
Well, it's like in the perception of it, like what I do, who I talk to. I always maintain this like storyline of these
okay.
connections and I just talked to my partner the other day about a main storyline that has always, always, always weighed heavily on me.
Mhm.
And the fact that we worked it out and I can just let that all go just felt super, super amazing. Like all these things that I thought, I
Yeah.
thought it was, I thought who I was according to spirituality and realizing that, I'm almost 50 and realizing that that wasn't true. And, you'd think that I'd have more shame about it, but I honestly feel just free. Like shackles have come off, man. And now
Nice.
I can explore my spirituality and my connection with spirit in a huge, hugely different way, a huge, like way more open way than
Yeah.
me just keeping myself in that box of definition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That comes with your wisdom you're gaining.
Yeah. Or
So you when
even allowing
yeah.
that thing to even surface, right, from somewhere. You
Oh
know what I
yeah.
mean? Yeah.
Like it's funny, like it's like you got to a point where it's like, okay, I get it, and there's that wisdom.
Yeah.
And then now you move forward to the next part.
Yeah, and I just crave, these rules, like because I'm talking about my spirituality, these rules in spirituality is like, oh my God, that's just such, I don't want to carry this cross anymore. I don't
Yeah.
want to carry, like I want to have a glass of wine or beer. I
Yeah.
don't want to have to meditate. I want to have normal conversations, And it's just like I feel like I'm just wanting normalcy while being spiritual instead of just always
Yeah.
being spiritual,
Right. Oh
right?
yeah, but
Yeah.
that's the best part.
I know, and I'm excited that
Yeah.
realization, and it's really only recently come, and the realization has just been so freeing. I literally
Oh
feel like
yeah.
shackles have come off my wrists and stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's incredible. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I love that because we're not all just one thing or
Yeah.
one, we don't all have one thought and it's just based on one
Yeah.
spirituality or religion or something,
Yeah.
there's more to us.
Yeah. And I feel like I've kept myself in this box of, how I worked and what I believed in and stuff. And I'm like, I don't necessarily have, but then I thought if I stop believing in that, then my connection to spirit changes. No, if I
No.
break out of that box, it gets bigger,
Yeah.
right?
Right?
And I'm getting shivers as I'm talking about it, but
Yeah.
I just want it normalized that this whole spirituality friggin' fake shit is just so,
Yeah.
but people have to learn through that. They have to grow
They
out of
do.
that themselves, right? They have to
Yeah.
they have to experience that themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's funny because that question actually comes into the first question I asked you about what you're processing and haven't quite put into words yet. So you basically just did. Like you're
Yeah.
processing that change in spirituality, right?
Look at us doing therapy on a
We
podcast.
are.
Look at us.
It just
Yeah.
dawned on me like it's funny how you
Yeah. Yeah.
you
And
get talking, it's like, oh, wait a minute, that's
I think it's just, the parts I played with this and becoming the medium that I am, the psychic or whatever, and just the labels of that and just kept myself so small according to other people's desires about what they want for spirituality. It's like, fuck it, no.
yeah,
And then that I think you're right, like that worthiness kind of ties into that. And so it's just kind of you're blooming,
yeah, right.
right? Yeah.
It's so liberating. It's just
Yeah.
you get to that point. I keep telling my daughter like it's like every like 10 years, like in your
Yeah.
20s or your 30s, 40s, 50s, you make these shifts.
Yeah, it makes sense because I'm going to be 50 next year and it's like
Oh
that's the
wow.
tens, right? So it's
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. It's
Like you come
just
into
like
yourself more and yeah, turning 50, you definitely have a I don't give a
yeah,
attitude and because it's a healthy feeling
yeah,
because you learn to let go of the stuff that really truly does not matter.
yeah.
and you start focusing on yourself,
And you kind of wish you've learned it sooner.
right?
But
Oh,
you didn't. You didn't. You have to go
oh,
with, with what life hands you, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be 58. And I tell you, when I look back, I'm thinking, my God, what? Like for a minute, I felt like what a waste. I should have figured it out sooner.
Uh-huh.
But then in the second breath, I'm like, yeah, but then I wouldn't have had those experiences.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
And you needed those. And some of them were
yeah,
really joyous and some of them sucked.
yeah,
But I mean, I don't think, like I said in another podcast that I did with you, I don't think I would ever change it, ever.
yeah, right?
Even though you get pissed off real bad
Yeah.
sometimes,
Oh, yeah.
you, I just wouldn't, because I wouldn't have that like wisdom, quote unquote wisdom, to share with my kids even,
Oh,
or have
yeah.
like deeper discussions with people, right? If they wanted to discuss that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I love the process as I look back at it. I mean, at the time stress gets in there or,
Oh yeah.
all that weird stuff.
Hmm.
But yeah, at the end of it all, it's kind of cool of the outcome.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Still here, still
Yeah, it's
doing
still
it,
here, still
just
doing it.
in a bigger way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So having said that, brings us to this next question is now now that you're moving into your 50s, what does vulnerability look like for you? Oh, trust me, it'll still be hanging around. It
Yeah.
never goes away, but it's just,
And I'm swearing in this one. So
that's
listeners,
okay.
apologies.
Nah,
Vulnerability, fuck it.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, like I was really sick for 6 weeks, 8 weeks. We were just talking
Yeah.
about this, and that that took me. It took me so hard. And usually like I fight it and I like try to still be the mom and the wife and the mother or the daughter-in-law and all this stuff. And this time I just allowed the sickness to take me. I was vulnerable with the illness. I was just allowing stuff. I was being like vulnerability equals truth for me. So why am I sick and
Hmm.
what am I fighting? And now it's like I think it's just like screw it. I
Yeah,
don't I think vulnerability is such a strength for people when they
it
can get
is.
rid of the facade of the pretending and just be vulnerable in their humanness and just like walk the walk and talk the talk. And I think that the world needs way more of this vulnerability and truth,
Yes.
vulnerability and honesty, because everybody has a chip on their shoulder because they're being looked at the wrong way or
Right.
they're being, given shit for something. It's like,
Yeah.
screw it all, fuck it all. Like just
Yeah.
be vulnerable, just be, have integrity and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually it sounds weird, but it's cleansing.
Yeah.
Like with you being sick, like like I believe things happen for a reason.
Mm-hmm. It was
So
my turn for sure. Yeah.
yeah, everyone has their turn, but you know what? If we allow to learn from even that experience, why
Mm-hmm.
is this happening? What am I meant to learn from it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So being vulnerable also brings being humble.
Humble. Yeah, you didn't really know everything, did you, Kim?
Yeah.
You really didn't know. So why don't you just admit it? Be
Yeah.
vulnerable enough to admit it, like along the line
Yeah.
of truth and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, being humble, my gosh. I wish the world would just have a moment of that.
Hmm.
Just be humble
Yeah.
for a moment.
And I feel like the moment of vulnerability, humbleness, all that stuff is really coming for each and every person. It
Oh
really
yeah.
is. It's
Yeah.
coming. I mean, if you're not willing to look at yourself in the mirror, and even I think being vulnerable with yourself first is going to be the first step, and it's hard,
Yeah.
right?
Right? Yeah.
As you're putting all your contour on and your friggin'
Yeah,
mascara and stuff, it's hard to
it
okay,
is.
put all that away and who's in front of you right now, and are you standing naked in front of the mirror? Or are you
Yeah.
standing in a big robe so you don't see yourself? Like I think
Yeah.
that's just the first step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find like a lot of women though, like since you mentioned that, um, they are coming into to a happy place in their lives where they can be vulnerable, where there is no makeup, there is no,
Hmm.
like they're happy within themselves. Like even if they're 20 pounds overweight or whatever,
Hmm.
oh well, that's where my body's meant to be right now.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
like I find it's liberating. It is something to be celebrated.
Hmm.
Um, it's like give yourself that hug because that is so important to have,
Exactly, exactly.
right?
And I know it's just like an extreme, but if you're naked in front of a mirror, can you hug the woman you see
Yeah,
without any pretense, without any, you know, saggy boobs, saggy butt, big leg,
yeah,
whatever it is? Can you just love and adore her for 1 second, or do you
yeah,
have a chip on your shoulder and, have to just look away all the time?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, it's hard. Like a lot of people have come to like the vanity and all that stuff,
yeah,
control their lives. But at some point, like I always talk about the little girl inside. I mean, the little girl, didn't have a C-section scar, but she does now,
yep,
or a surgery of some kind or whatever. But stop letting that define who you are, that scar. That scar should be something that you're proud of,
yeah,
you know.
mm-hmm,
And
absolutely.
sometimes we can't be in total firm tummy area after those experiences.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's just something that again, be proud of.
yeah, yeah,
And that's
exactly.
just an example.
Yeah, like yeah, for sure. But I think as soon as one dips their toe into the vulnerability pool and then they get used to it and then they go all the way in, then they'll come out the other side and they'll look back and it's not even a word that they have to use anymore. It's just a part of them now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I love talking to you.
I love talking to you too. Yeah. Yeah, it's just I think in this day and age for anybody, even like young men, they also have to get used to how they look, and that's all. Men don't talk about that, but they also have the same thing,
Yeah.
right?
Oh
Hmm.
yeah, they do.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have insecurities as well,
yeah,
and again, they need to love themselves enough,
hmm,
for who they are and what their body has decided to do,
yeah,
you know, like,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, where in your life have you mistaken survival for strength?
Uh, being the one who tries to do it all.
Yeah,
I grew up in a household where you did have to do it all, and if you didn't, I mean, you would get beaten, right?
yeah,
Or flogged or whatever. So you survived,
yeah,
and then you took that with you as a strength, and so you tried to do it all for everybody else, right?
yeah,
And I think just keeping busy is not strength, it's
yeah,
survival,
it
right? So I
is.
think that for me, that's what it is. Like it takes so much for me to just sit down and read a book or something. It like
Yeah,
this morning before we started talking, I was like doing a bunch of cleaning and stuff, right? Because it
yeah,
had to get done. Everything had to get done.
yeah.
And it doesn't have to get done. But that's
No,
just a survival instinct that I've carried with me, just keeping busy and stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing one like vacuum one day or do the
Yeah.
bathrooms the next or
Yeah.
like pace yourself,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
And I thought it was a strength to be able
Yeah.
to do everything. So everybody else had peace, right? But it's not.
Yeah.
It's that survival. So you can have that peace so everybody's just like
Yeah.
happy and nobody's
Yeah.
angry with you, right? Yeah.
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 Oh, geez.
I
Yeah, we
know.
have to, write a book about this, how,
I know. I know. I think
yeah.
we're in a generation, even though we're a few years apart, we're
Yeah.
coming from a generation where you did have all that shit happen and
Oh,
we're
yeah.
still, trying to come out of it in healthy ways and then you have the menopause hormones on there and you don't want
Oh,
to
yeah. Those
have,
are fun.
yeah, you don't want to be violent, so we have to try to work it out in healthy ways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, oh my gosh. Yeah, that's a whole different topic. I mean,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So
That's when you master what's called the look.
I,
Like
I'm
it
still
just
learning. I'm
comes
still learning that one.
naturally,
Yeah. Yeah.
something to be celebrated.
Yeah. I'll practice. I'll practice in the mirror while I'm naked.
Yeah, there you go. Oh man. Okay. Now, I wanted to talk about a little bit about stress only because there is a lot of it out there, let's face it.
Yeah.
And it's important to take a little different approach.
hmm
So I wanted to ask you, how do you maneuver through stressful situations?
Uh, if that's not easy for me. I'm working on it, but
Yeah.
I do a lot of reacting, and I
Okay.
don't take that. I mean, Paul always says respond, take that step back to respond instead of react, but I'm a reactor.
Right.
So, it's not the healthiest. I'm still working out that, but I just say pounce.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my reactions are pretty strong. I'm pretty
Yeah.
fiery. Yeah. hmm
Well, I think, that happens too when we were not used to having a voice, when
Yeah.
that's been kind of stifled in our younger years.
hmm
And, we just that's the only way we can express ourselves sometimes because it's our only opportunity to,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And
Um, I'm a
yeah.
lot like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really think too much. Like it depends on the situation. But when something happens, the first instinct for me is protective mode.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I will,
hmm
say whatever it takes to stop a nasty situation.
Right. Right.
There's no room for negotiation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think for me in high stress, I really, really have to have a sounding board and
Yeah.
get it all out, and then I'm fine and I'm just cruising. It's that
Yeah.
initial like blah, 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 whether
Yeah.
I'm yelling, crying, whatever.
Yeah.
10, just give me 10 minutes. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, the world is
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically finding your voice, regardless whether you're talking to a sounding board or, or somebody.
Yeah, yeah, something like just listen to me. I know I probably don't make any sense and I'm just crazy right
Yeah.
now, but just I just need to be listened to, and thank God I've had really good bosses because a lot of my
Yeah.
stress actually is from work.
Right.
And thank God I have good bosses who understand my process
Yeah. Right
because
on.
I should have been fired
Oh,
10 times already. But yeah, I've had really, really good bosses who actually just understand that Kim just needs to verbalize it and blah, 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 and then everything's cool.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, a lot of employers should learn from your bosses then,
I know.
right?
Well, there was one time where it was COVID and I was giving my boss shit and he says like he called me and I'm like, how do you want me to talk to you? Do you want me to talk
Yeah.
to you like personally or professionally? He's like, you can talk to me any way you want. And
Oh,
I shut
good.
my door and I was like, and then my husband thought I was going to be fired actually.
Oh,
But then it was all fine. And you know
yeah.
what? I've never had a higher up who disrespected me. They've always like really respected me. So,
Yeah. That's so
yeah.
important on the job because you know what? Sometimes they have this hierarchy
Yeah.
thing happening,
Yeah.
and that drives me nuts because it's like, okay, aside from that, we're still human beings here.
hmm
I really don't care what position you're in, but we just need to talk and communicate
Yeah.
and get through whatever we need to get through as humans.
Exactly.
I don't
Exactly.
care if you are the president of the company or I'm scrubbing the toilet. You're still going
Yeah.
to hear me,
100%.
you
100%.
know?
Yeah.
I and that unfortunately a lot of companies they don't remember that.
No. No.
That's your job, be mute
Yeah.
and
It's sad.
that just creates what you see happening in the world today.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's
hmm
all it does.
hmm
So really there's no real good service happening there.
No. No.
So I'm grateful for your boss. Is he
Me too.
hiring?
Yeah. Well, he's not my boss anymore. I've gone through a
Oh,
couple now, but
oh,
they've all been really good. They've all
yeah,
been really
right on.
good. Yeah.
Okay. So, oh, this question I need to ask you because for our listeners who struggle with stress,
Yeah.
okay,
Hmm.
how do you love yourself through your most stressful times?
Psychologist.
Yeah,
I need that space where I can be validated. I need somebody else to validate how I was feeling, and then I can love myself. Like it's just a work in
yeah,
progress. I can't immediately, like you said, love yourself through stress. I
yeah,
can't immediately love myself through stress
yeah,
because a lot of my stress, because I am such a giver, comes from other people, right? So I
right.
really need to vent out the situation. And
Yeah,
then if I get some sort of validation, and it can be like the smallest. It's like,
yeah,
okay, that's fine. You feel the feels, and then I'm like, okay, now I can just settle down and be like, okay, just pour myself a glass of wine, binge
yeah,
watch some sort of show. But I
yeah,
really need somebody to bounce that off of. Yeah.
yeah.
And I mean, I don't think that is that loving myself through show. I don't know, but I'm just taking the steps to have support through that.
I think that is loving yourself because you're taking into consideration, you know what you need.
Yeah. And
So you're showing appreciation,
I
you
just need
know,
support.
yeah,
I'm the type of person that doesn't want to be the lone wolf anymore in whatever stressful situation I'm doing
yeah,
so or going through. So I need that support. You know, my therapist, when my father-in-law died, she was shocked because it came out of nowhere. And she's like, well, what do you need from me right now? I said, I just need you to listen to me,
yeah,
right? And then I could work it out the other ways, right?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it funny, I think part of the problem a lot of times is that people feel they need to fix someone if they're struggling. They
Hmm.
need to fix the situation for them.
Hmm.
When in fact, all they need to do is just be an ear.
Just let them talk. And
Yeah,
I talked to a friend once, and she had other friends who she was going through a tough time, I think a divorce at the time. And she all these people were trying to give her advice. All these people.
yeah,
And I was very honest with her and I said, you know, Kelly, I don't know what to tell you. I'm
yeah,
21 years old. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And she's like, you know what? Talking to you has been the best because you don't have to say anything. I just needed to get it out.
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. I love to, just to have somebody listen or be there to listen for somebody else. And because that alone, like you're doing so much benefit for them,
Yeah. And
you
you don't
know?
realize it. You like maybe people think, oh man, I wish I could say more. But no,
Yeah,
actually, you don't have to say any more.
right.
You just have to be there to just be that sounding
Yeah,
board, right?
isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what advice would you give to someone having a difficult time handling their own stress in their lives?
From my experience of my own,
Yeah,
it's really, really important to just take that step back.
yeah,
Because if we're so in that tornado, it's you're not going to
yeah,
see what's really going on, right? So
yeah,
if we could just take that step back and, you know, as my partner says, just kind of try to lift yourself up and take that bird's eye view of the situation.
yeah,
And I've been practicing that a lot, just taking that step back, honoring where people are. But it's very difficult when you're in a very stressful situation to take that step back because you go
yeah.
into protective mode. You
Oh,
go
yeah.
into, right? But it doesn't, when I say take step back, it's not like 10 minutes. It's 30
No.
seconds,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Before you cause more trouble, before
yeah,
your reactions cause more trouble. So I
yeah,
think anybody from my history and learning what I've learned is super important. Just, okay, breath,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
breath, breath, and then and
yeah.
then you can, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
awesome.
that's the best advice I can get. And it's tough. Like I'm not saying it's that's something that's really easy to do. That's probably
Yeah,
one of the hardest things you could ever do, especially if it's like immediate, right?
yeah,
Um, but if you can just 30 seconds, then you'll be able to find your words to do that one foot in front of the other kind of deal.
yeah. Right
Yeah.
on.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Okay, one last question for you, then
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you go.
Sure.
Okay, so what are you grateful for today?
There's so much. I'm grateful that me and my daughter worked our asses off and did
Uh,
the spring cleaning in our
oh,
yard
nice.
because we have a double lot. It's super huge,
Oh,
and
nice.
she was like so helpful, and we did it, and it looks friggin' amazing.
Oh,
And
nice.
I'm just so grateful for her help. And then I asked my husband, "Can you make some bread today?" And I
Yeah.
smell bread cooking, and he made
Oh,
bread. So yeah, it's just like I just have really good people around me,
that's
you
great.
know. And I'm
That's
grateful for
fantastic.
our discussion. I'm always so happy.
Oh, I love talking with you.
It's just there's so much I mean, I could probably have another 30-minute podcast. What are you grateful
Yeah.
for, Kim? I'd be like, well, first of all, this
Yeah.
and this and this and this. You know, and I'm trying to really find great gratitude in just the simplest things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It doesn't have to be
Those are
grandiose,
so
right?
important. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
those are
today,
very important.
it was hot outside yesterday. I don't do very well in the heat. As you can see, I'm almost translucent.
Oh,
And like today is like cloudy. And I was so sunbaked yesterday, but now it's cloudy and there's a breeze, right? And it's cooling
yeah.
things off. So yeah, I'm thankful for the breeze today,
Oh,
right? So
yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
Right on. Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I really appreciate you being here again with me. It's
Oh, I
always
love
a
it.
pleasure.
Yes.
We just may have to do a part three. Who knows?
Let me know. Let me
Yeah.
know.
Okay. Well, thanks again, Kim, and I will see you later. Okay.
Of course. Have a good one.
Okay. You too.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us for another soulful conversation on the Three Moons, Three Souls podcast. We are deeply grateful to our incredible guests for sharing their wisdom, experiences, and stories, and to you, our listeners, for being part of this growing spiritual community. Your support, kindness, and presence mean more than words can express. We would also like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our amazing sponsors whose support helps make these conversations possible and allows us to continue creating a space for connection, empowerment, healing, and inspiration. Fernbury Collective, Krylo Crystal Creations, Divine Guidance Personal Empowerment with Dale and Jeannie Hogue, Transformational Retreats in Cypress Hills, Lynette Waltham Energy, Nirvana 101, Trinity Empowerment Center, Red Haven Healing, Soul Sanctuary Lounge, Brandy Music Publishing Canada, Wildcat Hills Records Canada, Burke Virtual Assistant Agency, Your Waves Radiant Energy Empowerment Clinic, Bonnie Supernant Psychic Medium and Author, Soul Divinity Healing and Art. If today's episode resonated with you, please remember to follow, share, and leave a review so we can continue reaching souls who may need these messages and conversations. Until next time, may you walk gently, trust your intuition, honor your journey, and continue shining your light. Blessings from all of us at the Three Moons, Three Souls podcast.